Hi, this is Eve, author of Detox with Ease. Detox your body, purify your life, feel great, look great, and be great. It's a very short, concise book that gives you an overview and a breakdown of all the different kind of toxins, how they get into your body, different ways, how your body deals with them, and the best way to have the most detox body in the easiest, simplest way. There are like mentions of some advanced methods. Maybe for a lot of people they would all be considered advanced methods. Just depends on where you're at. But it's a great book. You can get it on Amazon or my website. I never use my last name because I'm actually an artist and I have another career. So a lot of detoxing is not really that attractive. And when I started doing all this when I was sick, and I didn't really want to be associated with being sick. So I want to talk to you today about parasites, and I definitely don't want to be associated with parasites. But I've been doing a parasite cleanse again lately because I had this pain under my ribs. Actually, I had it 3 years ago. I went to 2 different doctors and they said 2 different things. Anyway, it went away. Whenever I had stress, it would happen, or whenever I was with electronics. Too much electronics, you know, after a while I would feel it right there. So this is 3 years later. I came back, and eventually I did go to the doctor again. Eventually I have a friend in Egypt who's a surgeon, and he said, oh, it's this, you know, H. pylori bacteria, which I do think it is. When I read those symptoms, I was like, yes, that's definitely it. So I started doing mad detoxing again, colon cleansing style detoxing, and parasite killing detoxing like I used to do in the old days, bringing back so many memories. Oh my God, when I had MCS, that's multiple chemical sensitivity, I was doing like coffee enemas daily. So I'm back to that, and I would like to, I'm going to do a program. I want to do a program. If you're interested, contact me. I was thinking of doing private videos because some of this stuff is so disgusting that, you know, I really can't just, you know, share everything all the time. Anyway, it's a lengthy process, but I was thinking of doing a parasite cleanse, maybe getting a group of people together and focusing on that, because I've been doing it for a month, and I'm not finished at all yet. So anyway, I started like killing bacteria and things from the H. pylori bacteria. So I Googled, you know, all the natural things to do, and I started doing those. I got black seeds, drinking green tea, high dose vitamin C. Down the list, you know, whatever I would find, I would start doing it, and then I started doing enemas, and I started seeing tons of parasites like I used to see in the old days. You can watch one of my old videos called My Dirty Little Secret, where I actually saw a picture of it. I might put a picture of it in this one. So I start detoxing and I start seeing all of this stuff. So I realized what's really going on with me is that it's just, there's a bunch of parasites and nasty stuff in my large intestine right under my ribs, and I really think that's very integral to why I got chemical sensitivity in the first place. If you start reading a lot about parasites, one of the symptoms of parasitic infection is chemical sensitivity. Also teeth grinding, which I've had a lot of issues with. Any kind of different stomach pains, diarrhea. The other ones I didn't have, I think because I have such a very exceptional diet, so I don't have any weird digestive issues that I notice. But it's very simple, you know, the symptoms and stuff. So, started cleansing, and then I started seeing so many parasites and wormy things, and then I actually showed my friend, he's a surgeon, thank God, and, you know, he said it was Ascaris. I'm not completely convinced, because when you look at them online, they look kind of like not transparent, but he's actually, I trust him, he's a doctor. You know, sometimes doctors are the best, and I'm not sure that I shouldn't have just gone to the doctor and gotten all the parasite medication and then been done with it, because I think it only takes 3 days. So you can do that. After this is all said and done, I still might go take the parasite medication. Just I think part of why I got this was from antibiotics. that I took a year ago, and then I was like fasting stupidly. My tongue turned black. Like, that's how off my digestion got. It's never really been the same. I had to take a lot of antibiotics because I was traveling and I had 2 different things going on, and then I was fasting and during the day as a spiritual practice that I was involved in, and so it was a mess. So like, I think it's been a whole year. Plus, I've hardly paid any attention to taking probiotics or even making kombucha like I used to. You can watch my kombucha video. I started making kombucha again, started drinking kefir again. I started really taking care of my gut because, you know, it got messed up again. Okay, back to parasites. I definitely have worms. I mean, if your butt itches in the middle of the night, that's worms. So once I started cleaning, doing the kind of killing the ascaris, not the ascaris, the H. pylori, and doing enemas, like, I think I just like woke up all the demons. You know, parasites are like that. They're living beings and they don't want to die, just like a human being. You know, they're fighting for their life. So it's been, you know, I started doing enemas like more than a month ago. I also did a salt flush, a couple of salt flushes, which that's when I started that video. So whenever that was, that's when I started. And yeah, so, you know, maybe after 3 or 4 weeks, then my eyes were itching. Like, I even have this red dot in my eye, which I'm pretty sure is a parasite. Instinctively, I put tea tree oil in my eye, which I knew would sting, and I knew I should never recommend that. Also, I'm not a doctor, don't forget, or even a naturopath. But then I Googled it later. A lot of times I do things instinctively, and then later I Google them, and you're like, yeah, they're studying, you know, now the NIH on tea tree oil to get rid of bacteria that causes blindness. So the second time I watered it down with coconut oil and just put a little in my eyes. But I just was desperate. Like, I just started, after about 3 weeks of killing parasites and just seeing more and more and more. And I have these things, you can Google them online. Some people call them candida, some people call them something else. You know, when I had a chemical sensitivity, I mean, I was like parasite queen. I spent hours and days and weeks, you know, looking into the results of my enema and Googling, and I actually don't think the information online is that good. That's why when I call my friend the surgeon, he's like, ascaris. So I was like, okay, because online they're called rope worms. Anyway, you can really go crazy with that stuff. In the night that my eyes were itching, anyway, it got really worse at a point, and I went through that moment when you're detoxing where you're going, oh my god, I'm insane, what am I doing to my body, and I'm gonna die. So there was a few days of like lots of itching, and I think I did even see something in my skin, and plus I'm reading a lot about it, which is awful and frightening, and it's quite a process. So I have a video on how to do coffee enema. Just a very simple process. Enema, the first time I ever did it, I was so afraid, and I put the water too warm so I could felt all hot inside, and I was so scared. But you know, after I've done it all the time, I was sick with MCS for like 1 or 2 years. I did enemas like practically daily, which is where I learned a lot of stuff, laying on the bathroom floor watching YouTube videos of how to start a website and whatnot. So you may as well make use of the time. Now I'm studying stock market and options trading. So anyway, when you're sick, you're generally not working. And when you have chemical sensitivity, you're certainly not like out in an office, you're not driving a truck, you're not doing anything that's making you sick, which is pretty much everything, and you're battling fatigue. You're spending all your time and your money trying to get well. So this is what I did a lot of. And anyway, whenever I've done some enemas just over time, when I don't feel well, I feel bloated, and I do have these things. I don't know what the hell they are. I'm going to put a picture. My friend's taking an exam in Egypt, so I said, you know, when you're finished with your exam, you have to find out what this is. I sent him some pictures. It's gross. They're like fur balls with like scary legs. It's really, really scary the first time you see it. And For some reason, we don't have help. When actually, back when I was sick, I actually took one into the doctor. I was like, what is this? And it might have even been the immunology, infectious diseases section of like George Washington Hospital. You know, where I live is like Washington, D.C. Like, these should be the top experts. And, you know, they were like, I know we never saw that before. So I needed to bring my sample in, like, either with alcohol or without alcohol, whatever. I did it wrong, and it's very uninspiring to take your stuff to the doctor, you know, because first you can't tell them that you did an enema, because they're going to be like, what? So you have to do a little dissimulating, or, you know, lying when you're sick if you want to get well, because if you just tell people straight out, they're not going to help you. They're just going to think you're more crazy than you really are. So I was always downplaying everything, trying to act normal. You know, oh yeah, this, you know, came in the toilet. I don't know what it is. You don't say, yeah, I was doing enemas for 2 weeks and this stuff came out. So when you do, so I was doing apple cider vinegar. I just put like 2 teaspoons in the apple cider vinegar. What have I been doing now? So I've just like done all kinds of stuff. I don't do coffee only because I stopped drinking coffee, and if I go buy coffee, I will drink the coffee. And I'm not really against coffee, but just for myself, you know, I'm not drinking it. I'm drinking like green yerba mate tea, which I like. It gives you more like sustained energy. I notice when I drink coffee, I go up and then down. And I don't like the smell of it on other people, so that's the main reason. I love coffee though, so if I get it, I will drink it and get all, you know, hyped up. I'm gonna get some coffee and try to do some coffee enemas, because supposedly, and like none of these things are studied, you know, in scientific reviews and hospitals and NIH and all that. So these things are all speculative. I mean, I pretty much believe that it's very likely to be true, but you know, when people are saying it opens up your bile duct and empties out contents of your gallbladder, when people say these are liver flukes and that, it's like people on the internet, okay? So sometimes I've gone off on some crazy tangents and I just go to the regular doctor and they actually didn't know a better answer. So us people in the home healing movement, you know, sometimes we get off. And of course, you know, when you have these illnesses, no doctor will help you. At least that was my case. So I had to just Google to get well. So you end up trying a lot of stuff and you end up like going crazy. So you don't have to worry about liver flukes and parasites in your brain and on and on and on. However, parasites do actually produce a lot of toxins, this sort of ammonia, and they have pollutants. You know, they are toxins. They are living creatures. So it's like having like a mouse in your body. It's pooping, it's dying, it's got some decaying, nasty stuff. Sorry about that. That was awful. You don't have a mouse. But if you start really cleaning your colon like that, you will notice that you do see some scary stuff. Like I did see a real worm a few times. The other stuff is wormy. I don't know what it is. My acupuncturist said it was mucus strings. Like you can read and Google a lot. Some people say it's candida. Some people say it's the inside of your intestines. Like, I think it's best just to do what you can until you get rid of scary looking stuff, and then try to forget that you ever read all of that, because we can get really paranoid. I don't think it's healthy to be reading lots of really scary stuff about parasites and whatnot. And people will write comments, other ill people in other forums for sick people, they'll write all kind of comments, and a lot of people seem to really, you know, like, oh, this is this, you know, they're very confident in their opinion. And that's what I noticed too, is that people believe somebody who's confident in their opinion. Doesn't matter if they're right, wrong, or indifferent. I'm not one to be dogmatic or didactic or, you know, tell you like this is definitely this, because I have a balanced point of view. So sometimes people like myself have a balanced point of view, or positive, you know. It's like we're not really saying anything. If I say like really scary stuff, I'll get like 1 million hits, and I don't do that. I made a choice not to do that, and because I don't think it's helpful. So don't read all that stuff. Like, read a little bit, just enough to get you some information. Then do what you can, and then try not to think too much about it. But anyway, when you're cleaning your colon, like I've been doing for like a month and a half, nobody knows this but you guys. That's why I don't put my name out there. It's a lot, and I mean, I think I've had hundreds of these things. Some of them are the size of like almost a dime, and I don't know how many of these wormy things. A lot. But I've started to notice stuff like, so when my butt itches, which is supposed to be between 1 and 4, but sometimes now like all of my parasites are off kilter, and they got real itchy. So I thought I was making them worse, but now they're better again. So I think I'm starting to get the upper hand here. And actually my pain is nothing like it was. Actually that got better quickly, although I still can feel something in there. And it was never a pain, it was just a heat, and I could just feel there's something there. I still feel that it's still there somewhat, but when I started on this journey, that pain was there like all day one day. You know, and it was there a lot, and it came kind of sudden, so it was pretty scary. So no, there's stuff in there. There's, I mean, I'm so embarrassed to say it. Please, if you know me, pretend that you do not hear this, because some people that I do know are on my page. So I'm declogging as best I know, and then I still might, you know, if it comes back, I might just go get the medicine. It's only a 3-day, and I don't think it's as bad for you as antibiotics. And I remember some years ago when I was reading, you know, all these people are like, well, this medicine doesn't work, and so you got to do all this, and then you got to heal, you got to take antibiotics. Probiotics. I started making kombucha again. You have to get the expensive kind of probiotics. If you get them in the store, the kinds that are in the refrigerator are the best, because some of the other ones, even though it says they have so many billion live cultures, a lot of them are dead by the time you get them. So I was recommended to get the expensive kind in the refrigerated section. I'm making kombucha again. I'm making ginger beer, and I'm drinking kefir. Because you have to start repairing. I need to get slippery elm. I hear that's, from what I've read and just my own feeling, that's like a really amazing thing for healing your digestion. Also chamomile. The kinds of enemas that I've done is apple cider vinegar with a natural raw apple cider, maybe 2 tablespoons. It gets out a lot of weird like mushroomy things. And then I started doing, I did some with a little Epsom salt, some with baking soda. Started doing some with tea tree oil because I just got desperate. Even though my stomach's not really bloated, I don't really have any other symptoms. But once you start cleaning your colon, you realize, oh my God, you know, what is in there? And, you know, I wasn't sure. One reason I stopped colon cleaning a long time ago, right when I started getting well, my acupuncturist said she thought it was mucus strings. And I thought, well, it could be actually from distressing the colon, from putting too much stuff in there, you know, like a tea tree oil. I think at one time I did the hydrogen peroxide enema, which was pretty intense. I don't really think I recommend it. And if I do like go light, I just start overdoing stuff. You know, as Americans, we really like to overdo stuff. But so I eased back on that. I wasn't sure, am I just irritating my stomach more? So this is not any kind of exact science, and I personally don't think anyone knows. So, you know, you have to really use your own discernment, your own gut feeling, and go easy on yourself. And you might not do this at all. If you do something and you hurt me, don't come back and blame me. I'm not a doctor, and I'm just another person on the internet, basically. I do have many years of doing this, but still. So then I started doing tea tree oil because that's when they started going crazy. Before that with, like my eyes were itching, and even one night my nose was itching. And also you have to like keep changing your sheets because I hear they crawl out at night to lay eggs, and then you touch it, and then you touch your face, and then they go in your mouth. Anyway, it's so awful. And then I started doing garlic. So I got garlic. You have to crush it up and let it sit for 10 to 15 minutes before you use it. because the alicillin, the active ingredient, doesn't come out until you crush it. That's why when you buy aged garlic, that's what that is. So it's very expensive and probably not half as good as if you make your own. So I just crush it like that and put it in water and let it sit in the water and then use the water for that. That's really been killing a lot of stuff. I mean, it's, when you start doing this for a while, like I have, like you even know what you're going to get. Like if I have the itch, then I know I'll get these weird kind of ropey things. And then if I feel like just there's like something stuck in there, I'll get like a whole bunch of those little round, I don't know if they're candidas. I don't know what they are, but they definitely should not be there. I don't know how so many of them can fit in there. I don't know, or they like keep growing new over and over, or have they been stuck there for a while? I'm not sure. I keep meaning to make these P&B shakes, which I do have a blog post about. I also have blog posts and videos about making kombucha and different things on Parasite. But I just don't feel like drinking it, which a lot of times I do believe our intuition is really guiding us. I think it's probably not good for me because I just really don't feel like drinking those shakes. So it's bentonite clay and psyllium husk. And I did get some wormwood and walnut, which I've been taking like twice the dose because I really don't want to leave this in there. Other than feeling kind of tired off and on, I feel totally fine. I don't have any chemical sensitivity, anything like that. And I've been doing Muay Thai, which is a very strenuous martial art, you know, like 5-6 hours a week. So I'm not, you know, here dying. So really a lot of people have this, they just don't notice it. A lot of people have weird pains, but I'm the kind of person I have a weird pain, like I need to find out what it is. Which is one reason why I could get well with my chemical sensitivity so fast, because once I got it, I immediately started trying to figure it out. So I'm not sick, you know. I mean, these people with bloated stomachs, I do believe they are like full of this. They probably have, you know, gallons and gallons. You can read up and you can look at really scary stuff online. Like I didn't have any like giant stuff like that. I do think it's good to take samples into your doctor. Like I should get around to it, but you know, we all are busy, and I need to find out, should I save them? And I am going to tell my doctor later. After I'm done cleansing, I am going to go, you know, tell my doctor, oh, I saw a worm in the toilet, you know. I'm not going to say I did an enema, although my doctor's pretty cool. Luckily, you know, now because of the internet and all of these things that we are doing, the doctors have had to catch up a little bit. I actually feel good. Like, here's the thing about doing an enema. Oh, that's what I really wanted to say. 2 things. Okay, one is you actually feel immediately better. If you do have chemical sensitivity, you probably have parasites. I think if you have any chronic illness, you have issues with your digestion because your immune system is in your digestive system, neurons, neurotransmitters, you know, everything's really going on in your gut, you know, and that's also why when you have brain fog, you know, it could be a lot of toxins from parasites. I don't have any brain fog anymore. It's like a huge miracle. I just thought, I didn't even know I had it until I stopped having it, because you're like, wow, you know, sometimes I just like, I was just very spaced out. I thought it was depression or some kind of other thing, but when I detoxed and healed my chemical sensitivity, I noticed one day, I was like, oh yeah, I don't feel like that anymore. Also, I don't lay on the couch anymore like I used to. You know, we're like health conscious people, so my parasite infestation, I don't know, it's probably not as bad as an average person. And the thing is, you don't know you have it until you start cleaning it. Once you start doing that cleaning, you're like, oh my God. So frankly, I've been doing enemas like 2 times a day, sometimes more, because that's my latest philosophy, is like, especially with the garlic, the tea tree oil, and the baking soda, is like, it's just gonna make, I don't want them laying eggs. I'm just trying to kill everything. Do you feel better immediately when you do an enema? So the difference between going to get a colonic and an enema. When I was really sick, I didn't have money to go get colonics or go to naturopaths or anything like that. I was completely flat broke. So I did enemas. And what I